Macintosh is the main dining hall. Students can also get hamburgers and wraps at White Bear. On weekends, students can get breakfast at Northern on Main. Students can use a late night and dinner swipe and get snacks at the C-store.
When students arrived in the 19th century, they didn't have residence halls as we think of them today. They might very well be living in a boarding house off campus where they would pay rent and for meals. In some cases, students would self-board, that is, a group of people would get together, rent rooms, and then do their own cooking. But as time went on, a number of the restaurants in town decided that they wanted to get in on the business as well. What they would do would be to issue meal tickets to students. They would be for a set number of meals at a set price. And then as students would come in to eat at their convenience, they'd simply get one of the meals punched off. The system of boarding houses worked pretty well up until the First World War. Landladies decided that they really no longer wanted to serve. The university opened a cafeteria in the basement of Brown Hall. There was a large house behind a hill building, and there was a large Quonset hut on the back of that. That had a snack bar, apparently space for some games, and it was a student gathering place.
There was a Quonset hut, which was a big steel round building that was where, essentially where the art building is. And that was more like the White Bear. You could get hamburgers and, you know, that kind of stuff. But as far as, you know, your general meal was still either in fraternities or, you know, town restaurants or the dining service. And women had to eat in the dining service. It was the same, smaller. It was smaller then. They added on to the dining room. They added on a lot of space. And they did it in steps. When I went there, I'm going to say there were a few rooms besides. Then they added I think they added the activities room and the ballroom and then more extension on the dining service. You know, and the White Bear and the faculty dining room were all new, not too many years ago.
Okay, I'm Thelma Reddick. I've run the C-Store. This is the 4th year. Started very small. Well, it was an experiment. It got busier, busier and busier towards the end of the year. That worked pretty well for the first year. And then the second year got even busier. It's about the size of a closet.
What we are trying to accomplish by boycotting the C-Store is to have a larger selection, more options to have with our meal plan, because previously we could use our 10 o'clock meal swipe to get pretty much anything from the C-Store, and now we've been restricted to only getting a sandwich, a drink, and a bag of chips, which is technically the same thing as what they already have at White Bear. So they kind of took C-Store off the map for what our meal swipe could be used for. The only way we could get anything done is by, you know, insisting for change.
We're trying to upgrade, trying to constantly, we don't want to stay the same, we don't want to be stagnant. It's a program called Swipe Plus, which will allow the students to come through the Macintosh, eventually White Bear also. They'll be able to swipe their card and then add a few dollars to that from points and get an upscale meal. We get input from students on student surveys. Certainly if there were big changes like a building, students would be in on committees and forums and stuff to voice their opinion. I know that we have some very upset students right now with the meal swipes at the C-store. We will try to tweak the offerings that we have. I'm hearing that they don't like sandwiches and subs.